Hello students, welcome to powertutorials. So today we will continue our chapter 9, which is some applications of trigonometry of NCERT class 10 maths. So in the part 1 I have explained about the introduction of this chapter, what is trigonometry ratios and what are the applications we are going to discuss, and what are heights and distances, what is height definition, what is distance definition, what is angle of elevation or angle of depression. So all these things we covered in part 1. In the part 2 video we have started solving questions, that is solving example questions, and we have covered all the example questions, and we also started exercise questions starting from question number 1. So in this part 3 I'm going to explain about 2, 3, 4, 5 exercise questions, and we're going to solve one by one. So the part 1 and part 2 videos I'll keep in the description. If you have any doubts you can refer to those questions. So let's start with today's part, which is starting from question number 2. So the question number 2 is: a tree breaks due to storm and the broken part bends so that the top of the tree touches the ground, making an angle 30 with it. The distance between the foot of the tree to the point where the top touches the ground is 8 meters. Find the height of tree. So here they are explaining about a question where there is a tree and it has been fallen down due to storm, or a part of it is fallen down due to storm. So this, as I mentioned, this belongs to exercise 9.1, and today we are going to solve question number 2. So as I have mentioned in the question, they are saying that a tree breaks due to storm and a broken part is falling on earth on the ground, making an angle 30 with it. So we have a tall tree, and due to storm what happened, a part of is cut out and it has been fallen on ground, making an angle 30. This is previous height of tree, but as I mentioned, due to storm the part of tree has been fallen, it is making 30 with the ground. The distance between the foot of tree to the point where the top of tree touches the ground is 8. So this distance is 8. They are asking to find height of tree. They are asking to find the entire height. Previously what is the height of tree? So if let us take the total height as h, then this part if I assume it as x, then this part I can assume it as h minus x. Correct? Because the total height is h. So small part is getting cut out due to storm and it hasn't fallen ground, and this part is making 30 degrees. Okay. Let's read out the question again and let's solve this. A tree breaks due to storm and the broken part bends so that the top of tree touches the ground, making an angle 30 with it. The distance between the foot of tree to the point where the top touches the ground is 8 meters. Find the height of tree. So they're asking to find total height. So I'll also draw with respect to the diagram so you will understand. So suppose this is a big tree. Okay. So what happened due to storm? The part of it has been cut out and this has been fallen down like this. So previously it is like this, now it became this triangle. So we're talking about this triangle here, which is 30 degrees. So we have to consider two angles here. So let's to find x value. So this is adjacent and this is opposite side. So if you remember in the first part I have explained three angles which we mostly use in this chapter, which are sin theta, cos theta and tan theta. Sin is opposite by hypotenuse, cos is adjacent by hypotenuse, tan is opposite by adjacent. So for this question we have two things which are adjacent and opposite side, so we'll use tan theta. So tan 30 is equal to, opposite is x here, x by adjacent is 8. Tan 30 degrees is 1 by root 3. 1 by root 3 is equal to x by 8. So implies x is equal to 8 by root 3 meters. So let's take another question. Like if I take this is adjacent by hypotenuse, or I can also take opposite by hypotenuse also, but I will take adjacent by hypotenuse in this case. So what is adjacent here? 8, hypotenuse is h minus x. So cos 30 is adjacent is 8 by hypotenuse is h minus x. So what is cos 30 value? Cos 30 is root 3 by 2 is equal to 8 by h minus x. So if I take cross multiplication, I will get this as h minus x is equal to 16 by root 3. So what they are asking to find the h value. So we have the x value also here. X is 8 by root 3. Let's substitute the value here. We'll get the h value. So h minus x is equal to 16 by root 3. H is equal to x plus 16 by root 3. X value how much you got? 8 by root 3. So let's substitute x value here. This becomes 8 by root 3 plus 16 by root 3. As denominator is same, we can directly add it. This becomes 24 by root 3. So to rationalize the denominator, you have to multiply numerator and denominator by root 3. The final answer is 24 into root 3 by root 3 into root 3 is 3. 3 ones are 3 eights are. So height of tree is equal to 8 root 3 meters. Okay, hope you understood. Let's go to the next question. Question number 3. Let's read out the question. A contractor plans to sell 2 slides for children to play in a park. So hope everyone knows what is a slide. So slide is a okay, it will be like this. If you see in practical in parks, so it will be, there will be kind of a ladder, and from there we'll have a slide like this, from where children will climb that ladder, go to the top of it, and then use the slide and come down to the part where we'll have a sand so that the children will not get hurt. So this is a slide. So what in the question is saying, a contractor plans to install 2 slides for children to play in park. For the children below the age of 5 years, she prefers to have a slide whose top is at height of 1.5 and an angle is 30 degrees. So if you see, this is the angle they're talking about. So they are saying they have 2 slides. Slide 1, slide 2. Because small children height will be less, so for them they have small slide. For bigger children, I mean for around teenagers, they have one longer slide. For smaller people, I mean for the people who the age is less than 5 years, for them they have provided the slide whose height is 1.5 meters. Height is 1.5 and it is making an angle of 30 degrees to ground. So this is for people less than 5 years. Okay, what about slide 2? Whereas for elder children, she wants to have a steep slide height of 3 meters. So for them, the height is 3 now. Inclined at angle 60 degrees. So this is somewhat like this, steeper slide. Here it is only 30 because for small people, like for people who is having, I mean children who are having less than 5 years old, they have long slide, whereas for elder people they have steep slide. Okay. What should be the length of slide in each case? They are asking to find the length of slide. So this is the length of slide. So let's suppose here it is L1 and suppose this is L2. They are asking to find both L1 and L2 values. So let's suppose this is a triangle ABC. So this becomes a triangle DEF. So why we are taking this right angle triangle? Because if you see in parks also, slide will be like this. This will be vertical angle. The slide on which the children slides, it will be like a hypotenuse, and the bottom again is the distance between this ladder as well as the pole. So this is the angle they are talking about. Okay. So here what are the sides we are talking about? This is opposite side, and the length we are asking is slide which is hypotenuse. So we have to consider which trigonometric ratio, opposite and hypotenuse, which will be sin theta. So for both the triangles, let's find out sin theta and get the hypotenuse value. So here it is sin 30. Sin 30 is equal to opposite is 1.5 by hypotenuse is L1, whereas here it is sin 60 is equal to opposite is 3 and adjacent is L2. Sin 30 value is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is equal to 1.5 by L1, whereas here sine 60. Root 3 by 2 is equal to 3 by L2. So L1 is equal to 1.5 into 2, whereas here L2 becomes 3 into 2 by root 3. So the second cancel into 2 into root 3 meters, because root 3 once root 3 and 1.5 into 2 becomes 3 meters. So length of first slide, that is for children less than 5 years, is equal to 3 meters, whereas for children having greater than 5 years, length of slide is 2 root 3 meters. Okay. So here it is 1.5 and the length is, we are getting it as 3 meters, because sine 30 it is 1 by 2. Same way here it should be root 3 by 2 meters. So it is 3. So definitely our output, the length of that slide should become 2 root 3. Then we will get root 3 by 2. Okay. Let's go to the fifth question. Sorry, fourth question. So what is the fourth question they're talking about? The angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground which is 30 meters away from the foot of the tower is 30 degrees. Find the height of tower. So it's a simple question. They're saying that we have a tower. So from ground, they're talking about the angle to see the top of the tower. So tower will be vertical, straight line. So this is horizontal and this is the hypotenuse. 30 meters away from foot of tower. So this point is 30 meters away from foot of tower. Angle is 30 degrees. Angle of elevation, they clearly mentioned angle of elevation is 30 degrees. Find the height of tower. They're asking to find height. So we'll mark this as triangle E, B, C. So just repeat the question again. The angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground which is 30 meters away from the foot of tower is 30 degrees. Find the height of tower. So simple. We have adjacent side here and this is the opposite side. Opposite and adjacent, we have to use tan theta. So tan 30 is equal to opposite by adjacent side, which is h by 30. Tan 30 value is 1 by root 3 is equal to h by 30. So if we do cross multiplication, h becomes 30 by root 3. So 30 I can write it as 3 into 10. So final answer, height of tower is equal to 10 root 3 meters. If you substitute 10 as root 3 as 1.732, then it becomes 17.32 meters. Okay, let's go to the fifth question. A kite is flying at a height of 60 meters above the ground. Okay, the string attached to the kite is temporarily tied to a point on ground. The angle of inclination of the string with the ground is 60 degrees. Find the length of string assuming that there is no slack in the string. Okay, so let's see the practical diagram first and then we'll see the triangle question. So what they're saying, so they're saying that we have a kite which is flying above the ground with a height of 60 meters above the ground. Okay, and the string attached to kite is temporarily tied to the point of ground. They're saying that we have a string which is temporarily attached to a point on ground such that the angle of inclination of the string with the ground is 60. So it's saying that this angle is 60. Okay, assuming there is no slack. No slack in sense this line is straight line. There is no bend here. Okay, just repeat the question and then we'll start the solution. A kite is flying at a height of 60 meters above the ground. The string attached to the kite is temporarily tied to a point on the ground. The inclination of the string with the ground is 60 degrees. Find the length of the string, assuming that there is no slack in the string. Okay, so let's draw with respect to triangle. So this is 60, angle is 60. They're asking to find the length of string. So they're asking this one. Because this is a string here, they're asking this length. They provided the height, so just mark it as triangle again, ABC. So if you see, this is opposite and this is hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse, you have to use sine theta. So sine 60 is equal to opposite, which is 60, by hypotenuse, which is L. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2 is equal to 60 by L. So if I do cross multiplication, I will get root 3 into L is equal to 60 into 2. So L is equal to 60 into 2 is 120 by root 3. You can also write this as 3 into 40 by root 3. So length of string is equal to root 3 3's, it becomes root 3, which is 40 root 3 meters. Okay, so in this way I conclude this part 3, where I have mentioned at the starting that I will cover the exercise questions of 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. So in the next part 4, I will cover the details about next 4 or 5 questions based upon the time taken, and then we'll continue with the same exercise questions. So let's meet in another video. Thank you.